Hello. This is Hagoda's Snowflake Demo. I'm David Wynn, and I'll basically be introducing what Snowflake is, some of the functionality of it, and then we'll be jumping into making a guest user account, trying to connect Python into Snowflake in order to import our data very easily, and the end goal here is we want to connect Snowflake to Tableau to visualize our data in a meaningful way. So let's jump right into it. Let's see what we got. And here is a quick overview of what we're going through again. So we will first create a new Snowflake trial user account. Second, we're going to create a connection to Snowflake using Python. And then we will create a database, set up the different tables, input our data into Snowflake, and then run a little analysis. And then we will connect Snowflake to Tableau for data visualization again. Let's keep going. So what is Snowflake? They have a little quote here. So Snowflake delivers the data cloud. Mobilize your data with near unlimited scale and performance. So Snowflake is pretty much a tool that can be used by data engineers, data analysts, scientists to get the most out of their data. So Snowflake is a top cloud-based data warehousing company, and it serves as that over-encompassing tool for the full data engineering and data analytics lifecycle. So that was a little overview of what Snowflake is. So we'll first start by creating a guest user account, and we will go on the website right now. Let's see. So this is the website here. We're just going to click the button where it says free. Usually anytime you see a free button, you should probably click it. So let's see what we got. I already made a guest account, but if you haven't yet, then you will just fill out these values here. But I already have an account, so I'm just going to sign in, and it auto-logged me in, so that's cool. So after we create the guest user account, then we are in our database already. There's a lot of different things that we can already do. So we can see the different databases that come pre-installed with this. They have some sample data you can work with, but we'll be working with our own data. So jumping into that, let's see what we got. So, oops. I don't know why it's going backwards, that's weird. Alright, so we do have a simple dataset we'll be working with today. And this is the dataset shown. Here are a few variables. You have this country here, this date time, your data. What all of this is the gender inequality index. So this is the historical GII values based on these specific countries here. So for example, this 1995, this is a value that was collected for the country Georgia, and this is what their GII was back in 1995. So I thought this was a cool little data set that we can work on and eventually visualize because we have geographic data. So that would be cool to look at on Tableau. And of course, I found the data on Data World. So let's explain a little more about the Gender Inequality Index. So the GII is a value between 0 and 1. And as we can see, the greater the GII, the greater the inequality in the country. So, as we can see, the more green a country is, the less of a gender gap there is. And the more red a country is, did I say that right? That was kind of confusing. Alright, so the more red a country is, that means there is less equality between the genders. So green is good, red is bad. And as we can see, Canada, Europe, Australia, those are the leaders in gender equality. Good for them. So this is a quick visualization of our gender inequality dataset, and also what I wanted to do was incorporate some kind of join in order to get the most out of this little demo. So what I wanted to do was get the countries and also get the continent that they're from. So let me go back a little just so we know what's happening. So here we have the country, but that is about it. What I wanted to do was incorporate the continent as well. So maybe we can do some group bys, figure out maybe each continent's GII, the rate of change between each continent, something cool like that, or just to make the visualization a little more noticeable. So there's that. Yeah, so I will be incorporating a join to a other dataset I found that takes this country code, and then it also has the corresponding continent this country is in. So that's kind of what my thought process was. So there will be a connection here. I don't know exactly if that is correct, but we'll eventually see later on. And these are the links that I have above. So this first link was where I got the gender inequality, and then this GitHub link is where I got the connection to the countries. That country dataset. Okay. And also let's look at the dataset. So here is the gender inequality index. Let me actually zoom in. Alright, so the gender inequality index again. You can see the country, the date, time, year, day, all this good stuff. Okay, and then this is that GitHub link. So we can see that there are these countries and also their corresponding region or continent. So I thought it would be useful for us to incorporate a join, figuring out what region they're in. That would be nice, right? Let's go back. Alright. And then after that, we'll be staging and importing data into Snowflake from Python. So let's see. And in order to do that, we will be using a Python connector. We need to install the Snowflake connector, and then this is what we need to fill out in order to actually connect to Snowflake with Python. Let's see. And this is pretty much the process that we'll be doing. So we have a CSV file. We're gonna put it into this internal stage in Snowflake, and then we're gonna copy that into a specific table. So that's the little workflow. And okay, yeah. Let's go ahead and do that. Let me also zoom in. Alright, so I'm doing this on Google Colab. Let me get the zoom. Alright, let me also zoom up. So let's first start by importing the libraries. So I already installed Snowflake connector with Python. So if you haven't already, then this is what you would need to pip install. And just to check, okay, cool. And I also have a config file, so just to keep my password private. Alright, so here's my config file here. So I pretty much created this function where I'm gonna input a SQL query. I have a config file to connect to Snowflake, and then what I'll be doing with that is we get an output of the query. And this is that connection right here. You need to input the user, password, account, all that good stuff, and then all this. So let's try the first query. So let me start by running some of these. What is this? Cool. Alright, so the first query is to show the databases, and here we see there is the Snowflake sample data and that Snowflake data. And if we were to refer back to this, we can see the Snowflake and the Snowflake sample data there. So there's only these two databases right now, which is consistent with what we see here. So let's first start by creating the database, creating a schema, and then also a table. So we just input a regular query that we would use. So we have this create data, if not exists, and then show the different databases. So here is the first database that was created. I called it testDB, and here we can now see we have an output of testDB here. So if we do the show databases with the word test in it, and then we'll create a new we'll create a new schema inside this database we just made. And cool, so we have a new schema in this testing database now. And then after that, we will be creating our tables inside this test dataset now, test database now. So we have the gender inequality, and we also have that country code table we'll be making. So we are going to be working with two, and as we can see, we have an output here. The countries were successfully created, and just for reference, let's see what this looks like on Snowflake. Let me refresh. Oh wait, there's a refresh button right here. How convenient. Alright, so we can see that it has just been made. If we look inside, there is the testing schema that we made, the tables, and also these empty tables that we just created on Snowflake, or on Python. Very cool, very cool. Alright, and then we'll click show tables, and then it's gonna show all these different tables that we made. Whoops, spoiler alert. Okay, so we have the country code, and we also have the gender inequality. So exactly what we see here. It's just the output on Python and not looking on Snowflake. So we're gonna start loading in the CSVs into Snowflake. We'll first start with the gender inequality index table. So we're going to use the pandas read CSV, and then this was very easy to read in, but with that country code table, I actually had to do a lot of cleaning. So I went ahead and put that there. So we're going to be staging and inserting the gender inequality CSV into the actual table we made on Snowflake. So let's just see what this looks like right now. So this is what it looks like. Again, that same exact setup. And then we'll be staging it with this put function, and then copying in those values, all that good stuff, and then selecting the top three just to check if it works. Let's see. Cool. So we have this first query, and then the copy into, the data is loaded in, and then this is the first three rows of the data set. So cool. That means the gender inequality data is loaded in. And just to check, let's say we can do a select, tab completion, select star from testDB, testing, and then gender inequality. Alright, cool. So all of our data is in. Looks good. Let's keep going. Alright, so this is the first data set. Let's jump into the next one of the country code. So this is what the country code data will look like, and this is how we want it to look like in Snowflake too. So this is what we got to do. We use this put file, and again, this was very wonky, so I had to do a lot of different methods in order to copy this into Snowflake. And then that select 3 just to check if it works. So there we staged our file, we copied it into the dataset, and then we did a select star. And then here we can do select star from let's just copy this, and let's do, what was this called, country code. Alright, so we have our output here, everything looks good, cool, and that means everything looks good on Snowflake. And then here is a little exploratory data analysis on Python just to see any trends. So let's run all this good stuff. Alright, so this is just a very initial visualization of what the GII is. So as we can see in this time period here at 1995, we start at an average GII of the whole globe is about 4.7 or something, and then as we can see there's a downward trend in the mean, so that means the whole world is, we're going towards that more equal, or that lower gender gap, so that's pretty cool to see. What else? Okay, so now everything is in Snowflake. Let's actually run a few queries. Let me see something. Alright, so let's do a select star from testdb.testing.gender inequality. Let's call it, let's do country code C. And once we have that, let's do an inner join on that country code that they have shared. So let's call this testing gender inequality G, and inner join on C dot alpha 3 is equal to G dot RW underscore country code. And I know that this matches up because here is that alpha 3 for the country code table, and if we were to look on the other dataset, it's the RW underscore country code. So RW underscore country code, that's their country code but with only 3 letters, so there is a join there. And then let's just limit to 10 or something, just so we can see. Okay, cool. Looks like it worked. We have the name, we have all of these different things, and I don't want all of these, so I'm just gonna pick a few columns that I like. So let's see. Let's change this, and let me get the columns of interest. Okay, cool. I'm back. What's up? What did we have? Hold on. We want the name, this 3 digits. We have the date time. Let's also have the region, so c dot region. And cool. We should be good. This looks good. Alright, so we just want these 5 columns. Just zoom in. My bad. Alright, let's see. Okay, so we're gonna do create. Hold on. Alright, so we're gonna do a create table as, let's call this, I don't know, processed as this select query here. Let's close this, and let's run this. Oops, alright, I should have done use database, but it's fine, I'll just do test.db.testing and then do that. Cool, that works. Alrighty. Alright, so after we have this data here, let's go into Tableau now. And let's actually, hold on. Let's actually, yes, so let's continue. We're gonna go into Tableau. And what do we have here? So Tableau visualization, we're gonna connect Snowflake to Tableau, make some visualizations. So once we're on Tableau, this is what the user interface will look like, and this will be how we connect to Snowflake. We pretty much just put in our link here, our username and password, and then we should be good. So let's go into Tableau now. I am on a free trial because I am a broke college student. Alright, so Snowflake. Yes, we're in Snowflake. And then password is quadrant. Boom. Alright, so we are connected. We can go to the specific database we want, which is this testDB. Then we'll go to the testing schema, and we already have the process data frame. So let's go here. We'll do update now, and then we have all of this good stuff. This is already in date time, everything looks good. Is this already geographic? Yes, okay. So let's make a worksheet. So we're gonna make some visualizations in a little bit, so let's see what we can come up with. Okay, so as I was making my visualization, I ended up finding out I only have 10 different countries, so then I need to look back here. So I accidentally added this limit 10 here. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that. Okay, so let's do a drop table. Oopsies. Let's do this. Okay, we dropped that. We got this. Cool. Alright, so we're gonna update our data again. Let's see. Oops, what is this? Let's do this. Open this. Alright, so we're gonna go to extract. We're gonna go update now. Oop. It is not updating, so hold on 1 second. Alright, so obviously there's a refresh button here. I am blind. Let's go ahead and click that. Okay. Alright, so let's update now again. Cool. We got a lot more countries now. Let's see what we got in our sheet. Not this sheet. Okay. So this is the GII. Looks very nice. Let's keep working on this visualization. Alright, I'm back. So this is the dashboard that I came up with. Just something very simple, very easy. Nothing too complicated. So I have the geographic data with the GII for each of these countries, and some of them are missing, but if I were to go deeper into the analysis, then I'll clean up that data a little bit more. And we also have the GII over time with these trend lines with respect to whichever continent that country falls in. So let's look here. It's pretty cool. This one is Europe. So as we can see, they are generally they're on the lower end of the GII. And of course, if we look at Africa, they are on the upper spectrum of the Gender Inequality Index. Let's just look at Asia. Yeah, it's a little bit everywhere. So that's pretty cool. And then the dashboard, putting it all together, we can see that we have this geographic, and then we also have this. We can do cool things. get all these visualizations, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's go back to the presentation. I don't really have much else to present. I don't really have a conclusion either, which I just noticed, but yeah, so I will end off here. Thank you so much for watching, thanks for your time, and I hope everybody that's watching has a good one.